Hello guys, let's start today's current affair. Who has recently developed AlphaFold 3 model? Microsoft, Google, IBM or Intel? So it is Google. Google's own division which focuses on research and development, artificial intelligence and machine learning has developed AlphaFold 3 model and this division is called Google DeepMind. AlphaFold 3 model is a breakthrough in drug research and discovery of cures of diseases because let me tell you, these are the LLM models. LLM models are those models in which we feed large amount of data which are available all over the world, and based on those data it answers our queries. So in case of AI we have advantage because it can think in unthinkable ways, it can find cures, it can find new paths, it can create new discoveries by creating various patterns, and in this way it is very important for drug research and discovery of cures of diseases such as cancer and many other incurable diseases which has so far not been any progress has been made. So AI can be very helpful in this medical field, and it is a free platform where scientists can use it for non-commercial use. Means scientists can use for discovery, for betterment of humanity, rather than it is giving away to companies who can find those drugs and sell them. So once again it is not for commercial purposes but because of well-being of humankind. Alpha 3 is a new AI model and can predict structures of DNA and RNA and many more. It is advanced version of AlphaFold 2. With the power of AI, new paths, new discovery and the new understanding of drug research can be carried out. So it means we can find out new drugs, we can find out various new methods which are unknown to humans, which are unthinkable in these days. India's Maitri 2 research station will be established in which polar region? North Pole, South Pole, Alaska or Greenland? It will be established in South Pole. South Pole is also called Antarctic region. So let me tell you first in simple words. You don't have to go through it. Just have a first summary about it. Okay, India has first established Dakshin Gangotri as a first research station in South Pole, which is Antarctic region, and unfortunately it was submerged due to glacial melting. India has made Maitri as a Friendship Research Center, which is also once again a research center in Antarctic region, and this research center has been functional throughout these days, and it is situated in rocky mountainous region called Shirmakhar Oasis, and this area is particularly plateau, means it is no longer a ice sheet but it is a plateau, means it is steady, and here we can establish research centers, and it also provides fresh water sources from various lakes nearby, so it makes human population inhabitable. And Maitri 1 is ongoing research station and Maitri 2 is in the development, and it is the second Indian research station in Antarctic, and it is expected to be operational by 2029. India also operates two post offices in Antarctic region named Maitri and Bharati, and it comes under Goa Postal Division. So basically these research stations in Antarctic focuses on scientific exploration and understanding the unique environment of continent. Additionally, research is carried out by National Center for Polar Oceanic Research. Joint group of customs meeting between India and Bhutan was held in New Delhi, Mumbai, Ladakh or Lucknow. It is in Ladakh. Bhutan is our neighboring country, and as name suggests, it is a customs meeting, means areas, topics related to customs and border were discussed. So discussion where custom related matters and enhance cooperation on trade facilitation, means trade enhancement, so that we can enhance trade in various ways, reducing friction. We can increase our trade to multi-billion-dollar, and enforcement of various standards and regulations so that high quality material comes and goes out. Additionally, it was also to strengthen bilateral trade and prevent cross-border illicit activities. Illegal transportation of goods should be prevented and various illicit activities should be prevented. So this area was also discussed. You should be knowing about that Bhutan shares border with 4 states of India, which is Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Sikkim and West Bengal. Currency of Bhutan is Nagaltram and capital is Thimphu. So once again, 5th joint group of customs meeting was held in Ladakh between India and Bhutan. Who has become first Indian women qualified to play 100 events in Ladies European Tour? Aparajita Singh, Shakshi Malik, Diksha Dagar or Ruchi Sinha? It is Diksha Dagar. What is LET or Ladies European Tour? It is a professional golf tour for women in Europe, and it was established in 1978. It features tournaments across Europe and occasionally in other parts of the world, and it provides a platform for professional female golfers to compete at high level. Winners are given prize money as well as ranking points. So India's Diksha Dagar has become first Indian woman to play 100 event in Ladies European Tour, which is basically professional golf tour, and it is one of a kind of event, and India's Diksha Dagar has done it. Amul has become official sponsor of ICC Men T20 World Cup of which country? Bangladesh, Oman, Nepal or Sri Lanka. As we know, official sponsors are those who have their logos printed on jersey and various other affiliations and partnerships. So it is Sri Lankan cricket team. Amul will be displayed on Sri Lankan cricket team's jersey, and it will provide, it has joined hand with in various areas such as promotion, exclusive rights and advertisement. Amul and Michigan Milk Production Association has joined hand for distribution of Amul milk in the United States. Amul stands as Anand Milk Union Limited. It is a company in Gujarat. It is sponsor of ICC Men T20 World Cup of Sri Lankan cricket team. Who has unveiled India's first large language models LLM, especially for designed for banking, financial services and insurance, which is also known as BFSI sector. Banking, financial services and insurance sector. Razorpay, Ola Money, Setu or Google Wallet. It is Setu. Setu is a fintech company and it is acquired by Pine Labs. Fintech companies are those companies which provide the financial technology. Means these are the companies which work on advanced level of web development, app development, online secure banking and various other core fintech solutions. And the name of this LLM is called CSAM and will be useful for BFSI sector, as we have discussed, banking, financial sector and insurance sector. ChatGPT is a LLM, means large language models. Large language models are those models which are fed large amount of data, large amount of information throughout the world, and once these information are fed into it, we can ask question and receive answers. In a similar fashion, CSAM is designed for banking, financial services and insurance unit, and it will enhance credit assessment, means before giving credits or loans, it will provide better enhancement assessment so that right person can get credit and it does not become default or NPA. It will help in fraud detections and loan monitoring. Loan monitoring means once you have given loans for multiple persons, you can monitor the repayment, various schedules, who is running forward, who is running behind, and various other predictions based on AI. Recently, RBI has lifted the restriction on which banks app from onboarding new customers. Bobword, Paytm Payment Banks, PayZapp or Yono by SBI. It is Bobword. Earlier, few months back, RBI has banned the Bobword from onboarding new customers because of some irregularities were found. Some issues were found where multiple registrations were done, and to prevent this, RBI had banned the Bobword from onboarding new customers. However, this ban has been lifted now. Bank of Baroda is a public sector bank and it has official app known as Bobword. State Bank of India operates Yono. HDFC operates HDFC Bank Mobile Banking. ICICI Bank operates iMobile, Kotak Mahindra, Kotak K2, and Punjab National Bank PNB One. So these are the apps of these banks, and RBI has recently lifted the ban on Bobword. Who has been appointed as L&T President? R. Shankar Raman, Mohan Sharma, Alok Goyal or Anikesh Sharan. It is R. Shankar Raman. Let's have a look about what is L&T. L&T is a Larsen & Toubro. It is an Indian multinational conglomerate company. Conglomerate companies are those companies, suppose this is a big company and it has multiple arms such as green energy, retail, banking, finance, different division of manufacturing. So this is called conglomerate company. Means it is a group of company which works in multiple areas and domains, diverse areas and domains. 1938 by Danish engineers Henning Holk Larsen and Søren Christian Toubro. So Larsen name is here and Toubro name is here. That's why Larsen & Toubro it is called. It is headquartered in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Larsen & Toubro is a very respected company in India. It has worked at very grand level projects in India. It is also has international presence in multiple countries. In India, it has made Mumbai Ahmedabad high speed rail network, which is also called bullet rail network. Additionally, it has also worked at hydro technical structure at Kundakulam nuclear plant, which is in Tamil Nadu. Atal Setu, Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, and it is also worked for Statue of Unity. As we know, Statue of Unity is the world's tallest statue. It was designed by Indian sculptor R.M.V. Sutar. So now we know about L&T, Larsen & Toubro, and R. Shankar Raman has been promoted to President as Larsen & Toubro. India has recently surpassed which country to become world's third largest solar power generator? Germany, Sweden, Japan or Norway? It is Japan. Now China ranks first, US second, India third and Japan ranks at fourth position at global solar power generation. And this report has been published by Global Electricity Review GER 2024, and India contributes 5% of total global solar power generation. So India is the third largest solar power generation. India has a very ambitious goal to reduce carbon footprint, and by 2070 India is aiming to achieve net zero. India is extensively working on solar power, wind energy, hydropower, so that it can reduce the reliance on fossil fuels such as petroleum and LPG and various other fossil fuel resources. India is working extensively to reduce reliance on coal and fossil fuels so that it can contribute its share of clean energy in global clean energy generation, so that we can reduce our carbon footprint, we can prevent from rising the global temperature rise by 1.5 degrees centigrade from our own part. When it's come to solar, India has contributed hugely to world community. It has formed the International Solar Alliance and it is headquartered in Gurugram, Haryana. It is a joint initiative of India and France, and it has multiple countries or multiple nations are part of it. International Solar Alliance purpose was to establish a single body where it can promote or enhance or cooperate those countries which lies on equator and between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, who receive maximum sunlight throughout the year, so they can utilize their space for maximum solar power generation and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. And Indian firm has received ISO 42001 2023 certification in AI management. Wipro, TCS, Infosys or Zomato? It is Infosys. International Standard for Energy Management Systems (ENMS) has granted first of its kind certification to the Infosys for AI management systems, and it is the world's first international standard specifically for AI management systems. Remember this, artificial intelligence management systems, and was given to Infosys. Infosys is a multinational IT company, means it has presence in multiple nations all around the world. It is headquartered in Bengaluru. It was founded by Nandan Nilekani. He is the co-founder and it's currently chairman of Infosys. And Salil Parekh is MD and Chief Executive Officer of Infosys. Nandan Nilekani name is very famous because he was also the chairman of Unique Identification Authority of India, which is also called UIDAI, and he made the biometrics and various other initiatives for Aadhaar creation in India. He has also worked as Aadhaar chairman. He has also extensively worked for digital payment infrastructure and various public policy initiatives such as UPI, Aadhaar enabled payment services, and so many public policy initiatives. So Nandan Nilekani, who is the chairman of Infosys, and Salil Parekh is MD and CEO of Infosys. According to recent report released by Hanley and Partners, which is the world's most wealthiest country, California, the Bay Area, New York City, Singapore or Tokyo? It is New York City. New York City houses most number of millionaires in the city, followed by the California Bay Area. California is famous for various startups and tech all around the world. It has most number of the startups companies here. It has extensive startups culture just like we have in Bengaluru. Many tech giants such as Apple, Microsoft, Google have headquarters here. And the third one is Tokyo, which is capital of Japan, Singapore, London and Mumbai. Please remember this, it is a 24th location, not 21. And Mumbai ranks here at 24th. So Mumbai is the 24th wealthiest city in whole world, and it is the richest city in India which houses most number of millionaires. Sri Lanka has made power purchase agreement with which company for 20 years? AGEL, NTPC, Green Energy Limited, NSPC or Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam Limited. It is AGEL. AGEL means Adani Green Energy Limited, and Adani Green Energy will be developing wind power stations in Mannar and Punerin. Both are locations in Sri Lanka. SL. It is a 20 years old agreement and deal is to develop 484 megawatt of power at cost of 442 million United States dollar. Adani Power will develop these two power projects in Mannar and Punerin in Sri Lanka. The first potato festival is being held in Arunachal Pradesh, Punjab, Nagaland or Mizoram. It is being held in Nagaland. Jakhama village of Kohima in Nagaland. It aims to increase farmers' income by promoting the various varieties of potato, increasing farmers' income to boost agriculture enterprise by showcasing its capabilities. Many startups, companies, and other enterprises can come forward and invest in state. Which Indian company organization has recently incorporated wholly owned subsidiary of Gift City, 8 Gift City in Gujarat? REC, Exim Bank, ECGC, or IREDA? It is IREDA. IREDA stands as Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency and it's come under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. It was formed in 1987. Basically, it is a global financing agency. It basically finances the global energy projects and it has incorporated wholly owned subsidiary. Means there is a main company. Suppose this is a main company and subsidiary is smaller company which focuses on a specific part. Sometimes subsidiaries are wholly owned, means fully owned by the major its parent company. Sometimes other shareholders come forward and it is partially owned. Primary focus is to financing renewable energy projects such as solar, wind, biomass, hydro and energy efficiency. Raises fund from various sources including domestic and international financial institutions. As we know, Gift City stands as Gujarat International Finance Tech City. It is in Ahmedabad district. It is basically central business district which houses multiple companies, multiple finance companies. Just like we have a shopping malls where we can purchase multiple things at one place. In similar fashion, Gift City is a business district, or you can say this is a financial hub where you can receive as an individual or as a company multiple financial services, multiple financial things at single place instead of roaming at multiple locations in all over India. If we look closely, New York City, London and Hong Kong are the major financial centers and Gift City aims to be one of the biggest financial centers in the world. Red Cross and Red Crescent Day 2024 is observed on. It is observed on 8th May every year and the theme is Keeping Humanity Alive. It marks the first birth anniversary of founder of International Community of Red Cross and first Nobel Prize winner and birth anniversary of Jean-Henri Dunant. So he was the first Nobel Prize winner and it marks the day of his birth anniversary. So what does Red Cross and Red Crescent Day do? Basically, it helps people in need all over the world. It provides aid during wars, natural disasters and other emergencies, and its goal is to relieve suffering, protect human dignity and promote peace. If you have any doubt or any feedback, please let me in comment section. I will answer your doubts and I will take your feedback and implement it. Please keep learning every day. Keep building yourself layer by layer. Do not get demotivated. Do not get demotivated because this preparation takes time. Learn current affair and practice lots of MCQs because learning is one part and attempting MCQs is another part. When those parts are perfectly done, you will notice that you are able to attend maximum current affairs in your papers. Learning, you can rely on this Current Affairs Interceptor YouTube channel, and for practicing, you can practice from test series. Practicing builds in recalling capacity and learning helps in memorizing capacity. When memorizing and recalling capacities are optimum level, you will achieve maximum correct answers. So do your best and have faith in your abilities, have faith in your studies, and more importantly, have faith in higher power. So if you have enjoyed this session, please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel so that you can get timely videos, and thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.